Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I am pleased to be joined by Christopher Woods. Chris, thanks so much for being here.
No problem.
So, how did you get involved with Three Ravens Publishing?
Well, in 2016, I ran into Hillbilly at LibertyCon, and we went to the Christmas party. That's when we actually first met, was at the Christmas party. And we talked about several different things and then kicked around a bunch of ideas, and we've been friends ever since then. So,
Okay. And it seems like a lot of people, like a lot of the connections in business happens at LibertyCon.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really great place to get started on stuff.
LibertyCon and any of the conventions, that's what you're there for. I mean, you're there for the networking.
Yeah. So for Three Ravens, you have contributed to the Car Warriors series, including the Marathon of Madness. Can you tell me about that?
The Marathon of Madness is what we did with the Dead Man's Run was we ran long distance races across country, and everybody between here and there is trying to kill you, basically.
Yep.
And they did like 1,500-mile runs. I did a 400-mile run, so I had to fit the same amount of carnage in 400 miles, which was really fun.
Yep. And you've also contributed to short story anthologies, including the It Came from the Trailer Park anthologies. What were your contributions, and what do you think is like the best one that you can pitch to everyone?
Well, I did 3. It's the same world, and I guess the best one I liked was the last one. But the first one is the werewolf one, and it introduces you to some of my guys. The second Trailer Park anthology, I did one about another guy who fights a troll. And then the third one was the consequences of beating a troll who works for this huge organization and things. So they're all tied together, and it's like an ongoing storyline.
And then, so not only have you gotten to write for Three Ravens Publishing, you've also gotten to write for another publisher that's here at LibertyCon, and that's CKP, or Chris Kennedy Publishing.
Right.
So you've gotten to contribute to the Four Horsemen universe. What were your contributions to that series?
I started with he did an anthology called Fistful of Credits, and I think it was the fastest short story I've ever written. I'd never written any military sci-fi, and he came to me and said, "Chris, I want a story for this anthology." I'm like, "All right, I'll try that," and I wrote the story in 2 days, and it's the fastest I've ever written one. I handed him the story, and he put it in Fistful of Credits, and it was called Legends.
Yep.
And it introduced the character that I ended up expanding into 2 novels in the Four Horsemen, one of which went to the Dragon Awards.
That's great. And but it's not just the Four Horsemen universe that you've written for them. You've also written for the Salvage Title series.
Title.
So what were your contributions there?
In that, I've done several short stories for Kevin Steverson, and then me and Scott, William Joseph Roberts, did a collaboration and did one called Smuggler's Run, which was like every cheesy 80s sci-fi movie you've ever seen, compacted into one novel.
Okay. And what is it that interests you when it comes to writing in these shared universes, whether it be for the Four Horsemen, or whether it be Salvage Title, or even the Car Warriors? Like, what is it that brings you to these?
It's fun to work in someone else's world. You know, they give you a playground, and you go and push the limits of whatever you can do in those playgrounds. I also have Fallen World, which is one I created in CKP. And I've got a whole bunch of different authors that write in my world.
Can you tell us what that world is?
Well, that one is corporations had taken over the world, basically, gone militant. You know, they were fighting each other and ended up nuking the world. And there's a piece of the city that's left that technically is Philadelphia. And outside of it are some farmers. And this is, my part of it takes place in that little area there.
Yeah.
And then I invited Chris Kennedy into it, and he started a guy down in Louisiana. So his guy ends up getting tied up with mine, and then a whole bunch of other authors wanted to play, so I'm like, let's go for it. So I've got guys in California and in, where is it over there, Indiana, and West Virginia. Hillbilly did one in West Virginia. Then there were several of them in Colorado, and they're all tied in with the same world. which has been kind of fun.
Whenever you write a novel in your own world, as opposed to writing in a shared universe, do you find you have more work with your own world than theirs, or do you find that because the research you have to do for theirs, it's more? How does the difference work?
The research makes it harder to do someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to do mine because I just make it up as I go.
Yeah. And how many books total are in that series?
In which one?
The one that you were describing.
The Fallen World?
Fallen World,
I think there's 20 right now.
Oh, wow. That's great. Do you, since it's your world, do you get to serve as like an editor, or are you more just in an advisory capacity for that series?
I have to read through and approve every one of them.
Okay. And when you edit books, do you find that there are styles that just like you feel are much more easily fit? And have you had to, without naming names, have you ever had to like say, yeah, it's not going to fit our style?
Yeah, I've had several, especially in the anthologies where they had open calls.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to go through and no, we can't do this. No, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but it is what it is. You got to turn some of them down.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself that you write more like as in the plotting phase where you plot everything out and then write, or are you more of a pantser where you find
Pantser
out
all the
where
way.
you're going? Okay, I know the common trope is that pantsers really are like heavy on the character stuff,
Yes.
and then they're lighter on
Lighter
a
on
story.
tech.
Is that is
It's
that
true.
the case?
It's true. If you've got good characters and you can tell a story with good characters, it doesn't really matter what the story is. It's still good. People enjoy it.
Do you find yourself like that? You like miss deadlines as a pantser, or even as a pantser, are you able to still hit a lot of them?
I try not to even make deadlines
Ah.
because with being a pantser, I've got to write when my mind says I can write.
Mm-hmm.
And if it takes a hiatus for a month, then there's really nothing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried forcing it, and it's really just not as good. And I'm never happy with it when I have to. So, yeah, I try not to do the whole deadline thing if I can help it.
Gotcha. What books do you have coming out in the next year that you can talk about?
Well, things I've got planned. I didn't write anything last year. I've had a whole lot of life going on, but I'm hoping to have another Fallen World and possibly another Legend to tie that one off. I'm hoping for a trilogy in that so I can conclude it. Mm-hmm. The Fallen World, I think I've got like 2 more to try to finish off the main line on that,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kennedy's got 2 more. So we're going to try to actually get one this coming year in both of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully I can do another Marathon of Madness.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see how that goes.
And if people want to follow you online, where should they go?
TheProfessionalLiar.com.
TheProfessionalLiar.com. I have to say,
that's my webpage.
you have the most unique and eye-catching or ear-catching website I've heard all day. TheProfessionalLiar.com.
Yep. It's on my cards too. I don't think I even have any with me, but it's The Professional Liar. The owner of the original BS degree.
Well, thank you so much for coming to do this interview.
No problem.
And until next time, I'm Jonathan. And thank you for